Hey, what's up everyone? How y'all been? Before I go any further, I want to send a big special thank you to my buddy Zeldin for allowing me to put this video on his channel. It really means a lot to me, buddy. Thank you very much, buddy. Shout out to you, dude. For those who do not know me, I think quite a bit of you all probably know me because some of you guys have saw me on Zeldin's channel every now and then. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Christian Dragoon. I'm Zeldin's best buddy for like 10 plus years. While he does the spellcaster stuff when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! And the Gold Paladin stuff when it comes to Vanguard, I normally do the Yu-Gi-Oh! The Dragon stuff when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! And I normally play the Kageros and Norikamis when it comes to Card Vanguard. So if you guys like Kageros, Norikamis, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Dragons, my channel will be the type of channel you might like. It'll be in the link in the description down below. Please check me out. My name is Christian Dragoon, and I hope you come check out my channel, and I hope you guys have lots of fun checking out my channel. Alright, now for this deck profile right now, Zeldin has me do a deck profile of my favorite Kagero deck, and my current favorite Kagero deck is DOTE Kagero right now. Now, I don't have Dauntless Drive Dragon yet. If I have Dauntless Drive Dragon, obviously he'd be in the deck right now. But until I get my hands on Dauntless Drive Dragon, I'm just right now messing around with straight up DOTE until I get my hands on Dauntless Drive Dragon. But even with or without Dauntless Drive Dragon, Dragon Overlord at the end by itself, as long as you cross ride on top of regular Dragon Overlord, it's actually a pretty decent card, actually, shocking to say right here. Like, the deck is still good, it's still reliable, and it can still do some crazy huge things, even without Dauntless Drive Dragon. So the deck's very good. The only difference is, since we're now in a format where Limit Break is like crazy, and near future, Legion is going to be the crazy thing now going on in near future. This deck right here is still aggressive and still gets in that damage very crazy, but at the same time, it still has some. But at the same time, it's got some defensive maneuvers now, so it can stand its own against those kind of decks. And with that being said, let's get the deck profile right now, shall we, everyone? Alright, start off with the starting Vanguard is one Lizard Soldier Conroe. He's your typical standard Vanguard. He's your typical starting Vanguard in Kageros right now at the moment. Blast 1, retire him, search out any grade 1 for your deck to your hand. It gives you a perfect guard, it gives you a bar, it gives you that one special tag grade 1 that does your great jobs for your deck that no one will see coming. Conroe is just a very good reliable card, do some things. I've heard in OCG in Japan. I've heard he's currently banned right now at the moment in Japan. I don't know if it's happened yet in TCG yet. But if Conroe ever does become banned, worst case scenario, I mean, I will be sad if he doesn't get banned. But if he does get banned, worst case scenario, I'll just shrug it off and replace him with a Red Pulse Trigger Kit, which is a pretty good to have around if that ever does happen. So one Conroe. And then for the trigger lineup is your basic 4 heal triggers, no explanation needed. Why this is very important. Now, for some of you guys who do watch my channel, most of you guys know by now that whenever it comes to Vanguard, I normally do either 6 draw and 6 critical lineup, or the 8 critical and 4 draw lineup, just mix things a little bit. But I've decided to go through a different type of twist that most people are not used to seeing me do by now. Like, as I said, I normally do 4 heals, I normally do 6 crits, 6 draws, or 8 crits and 4 draws. In this lineup right here, I'm actually going back to basics, and I'm actually doing 4 crits, 4 draws, and I'm actually playing some stand triggers right here. Now, this is right here is very good right here because, as I said before, this deck is a little bit more defensive, and it's very important right here because now and then you don't want to run into a situation where you give your opponent more cards and damage, where they can counter blast off or go out limit break more often. And by playing this lineup right here, I can still play defensive and still get my stuff going right here, and I can just go after my opponent's rear guards, and so they won't have to go after my Vanguard that much. So they can't really get that many good stuff off on my Vanguard that much. And by the time their turn begins, they'll either A, have to use up their entire hand in order to get some stuff on me, or B, they won't have anything to deal with attacking me except for their Vanguard, and I'll just have a lot of things ready for them, and I won't have to worry about guarding that much, and by doing so, I can set myself up with a huge lot of plays whenever I do some of the crazy combos I do now with this deck right here. And for Flame Siege Salamander, why I'm playing him of all stand triggers is I love the ability where if he's boosting a Kagero and if the attack is hit on Vanguard, I can get a free retirement on one of my opponent's grade 0 rear guards, and then put him back in my deck so I can potentially get a 5th stand trigger out of nowhere, which is very fantastic. So this guy's pretty good. This guy's just good. Just take out that other green one rear guard, whatever reason, and this is just there because it's sexy. It's probably the best looking critical trigger of all the basic Kageros in my opinion. So that's my trigger lineup. The 444s. That's pretty much what's going on. That is it for the grade 0 lineup. For the trigger lineup, for the grade 1 lineups, we have the 4 bars. Bars pretty explanatory. Why bars are very important right here. You do need that one grade 1 10 8K vanilla that'll boost that front row rear guard to do some serious amount of damage to your opponent, which is always very good and very appreciative of all that such. Now I've seen some people cut out the 4th bar in some of their deck profiles, which I can actually understand why they do that. One reason why is because people play bar in the Steel Dragon Kageros, and by playing 3 bars instead of 4, they won't be as likely to have bar and damage, because just like most clans of Steel Dragons, in order to do certain effects, you do need Counterblast Steel Dragons are in your damage. So, and sometimes that bar can become annoyance when that ends up happening like so. So bar is pretty good. So that's pretty much a good reason why that could happen. Why people would play less than 4 bars. Other than that, if you're playing like standard Kageros, I don't see any reasons why you want to cut out any bars unless you're taking in something in particular. And next we have the 4 perfect guards. No explanation needed there because they're perfect guards. 4 Dragonmon Gojos. Gojo is like a really good card. He's a backup bar for boosting. I can either use him for a backup booster, or I can use his ability to rest him, pitch a card that I don't need, draw a card, which is very important right here. And with DOTE, it's very important you get that ability, because you really want to draw into your Dragon Overlord at the end, or your Dragon Overlord is very important. The sooner you can do your Dragon Overlord or Dragon Overlord at the end, especially when you have the opportunity to go for a cross ride, it's very important right here. So Dragonmon Gojo is very versatile and very good for that sort of reason. I've seen people play that one Steel Dragon Dad by just calling him. You can pitch a card and draw a card. That's actually a pretty good idea, because it not only allows you to get that ability, but you still get a booster to boost up one of your front rower guys at the same time. Now, the only reason some people will say don't play him is because you only get that ability only once when you call that Steel Dragon guy. So it's really all based upon player's preference. So that's pretty good right here. Dragonmon Gojo is pretty good. And then to finish out the grade 1 lineup is 2 copies of Flamethrower Ammo. This guy is pretty much Dragonmon Gojo and both things of Dragonmon Gojo put together. He's a booster that's at 6,000 instead of 7,000, but if his attack is a hit, you do get to pitch a card and draw a card, which again is very important right here. So it's just like Dragonmon Gojo. Like it's better, but worse than Dragonmon Gojo at the same time. It's better because you get the boost. You can still boost your front row guy and potentially land a hit, which is pretty good, and still get the ability to pitch a card, draw a card all at once. But it's worth the same time because it's only 6,000 instead of 7,000, which is kind of a small difference depending on what kind of Kagero deck you're playing right there. And you're not always going to be able to land your attacks, even with him boosting the rear guard, the vanguard. So you're not always going to be able to pitch a card, draw a card. So it's kind of a card that's better, but not better than Dragonmon Gojo at the same time. It's really based upon player's preference. I've seen some people tech in that one Salamander guy, where if his attack is a hit while he's boosting that unit, you put him back in your deck, and when you do retire one of your opponent's grade ones, which is a pretty good fact. In fact, that's something I may want to try out a little bit. The reason why I'm not doing it is because I don't have him right at the moment. So this is what you're seeing right here. What you see is what you get, and all that crazy good such. So that's my grade 1 lineup. Yeah, there we go. For the grade 2 lineup, this is what I'm playing right here. I'm playing 4 max copies of Burning Horn Dragons right here. Now my grade 3 ideal Vanguard is always going to be Overlord, whether it's Dragonic Overlord or Dragonic Overlord the end. My Vanguard will always be Dragonic Overlord, so this guy will always get the boost no matter what, as long as my Vanguard is a grade 3 or whatever. And that's very good right here because it gives you a 12,000 beater rear guard that'll help you put some huge pressure down your opponent right here, especially when you're going after the rear guard, which is always pretty good right here, especially while he's being boosted by either bar, monk, or ammo, which gives you which allows you to put some huge field presence and some huge pressure down your opponent's board, which is very fantastic, very good, something worth trying out right here. If I was playing Dauntless DOTE Kagero, I would probably cut this guy from either 3 per deck or 2 per deck. Just because of fact with Dauntless DOTE, your Vanguard is not always guaranteed that your Vanguard is going to be DOTE or Dragon Overlord. Your Vanguard is going to be either Dragon Overlord the end, or he's going to be Dauntless Drive Dragon. And if your Vanguard is Dauntless Drive Dragon, you won't get the 3,000 boost for this guy right here. So he just becomes like 9,000 vanilla or whatever such. So he's only really reliable, straight up reliable, as long as your Vanguard is straight up Overlord no matter what. So if I was playing Dauntless Drive Dragon, I would definitely cut out 2 of these guys right here or so. But for now, as long as I'm still playing straight up DOTE, he's definitely worth sticking around at 4. And speaking of 4, a lot of people don't normally do this in their Kagero deck profiles, which is understandable. Some people like 2, some people like 3. I'm doing 4 right here, because as I mentioned before in the very beginning, I do like to play a little bit defensive going on with this deck right here. And what better way for perfect defense than perfect offense right here? Thanks to Berserk Dragon, all I have to do is ride or call him, counterblast 2 cards, and I can kill off one of my opponent's grade 2 or lower rear guards. Take care of those booster card. Get rid of those cards that are going to be boosting your opponent's front row guys, and then while you're doing that, this guy will just go in there and just kill off more rear guards, all that crazy good such. And then by the time you're done doing whatever, your opponent won't have that many resources to fight against you when your next turn comes up. So this gives you like defense and offense at the same time. And you keep in mind, you don't always have to use the effect when you ride or call him. It's a choice. But if you do choose to use this effect, just make sure you have some cards in reserved, because you really do need those cards to counterblast with in order to be able to perform your Persona Blast, which is Dragon Overlord at the end, which is very important, very crucial to this deck right here. And here's the next, and finish off the grade 2 lineup is 3 copies of Bellicossi Dragon. Bellicossi Dragon makes running for Berserk Dragons pretty worth it. Bellicossi Dragon is if your Vanguard is Kagero, and if this card's attack is a hit on your opponent's Vanguard, choose 1 card face down your damage turn face up. This is very good because it gives you the ability to reuse Berserk Dragon's effect again. It helps you make up for using Conroe's effect, and the more times you go off with Bellicossi's effect, the more likely you will be able to go off your Dragon Overlord at the end. Helps you give you a lot of field presence, helps you have some resources when you want to go off with your big effects, all that good such. So that's why Bellicossi is very good in this deck right here. So definitely that lineup. And that right there was the grade 2 lineup. And of course, what kind of Dragon Overlord the end deck would be if there was no Dragon Overlord or Dragon Overlord at the end. And to finish out the grade 3 to finish out the deck is the grade 3 lineup. The grade 3 lineup is 4 copies of Dragon Overlord at the end. Oh, Dragon Overlord, pardon me, and 4 copies of Dragon Overlord at the end. Now this is very important right here. This is pretty much your key condition card right here. Dragon Overlord, the regular Dragon Overlord. I mean, the ability is not bad. It is good to keep up a reserve for whenever you do want to use it right here. I mean, the ability to go after all your opponent's other rear guards and then go straight for Vanguard is pretty good. But it's something you may not want to use as long as you're playing Max Berserk Dragon and all that good such. But he's just mostly there as a decent rear guard and for the possibility of performing a cross ride. But if you don't perform the cross ride, it's not the end of the world. As long as you got the cards, I'll help you get your strategies going. It is pretty good. Now as for Dragon Overlord, the end, which is pretty much the main important card of the entire deck right here. Dragon Overlord, the end. For those who do not know, he has Persona Blast, which means counterblast 1 card and counterblast 1 card and pitch another copy of him from your hand drop zone. When this unit's attack is a hit, I believe it's a hit. When this unit's attack, when this unit's attack is a hit, you can pitch a card from, you can pitch another copy of it. You can do your Persona Blast. By doing so, he stands up again and he can attack 1 more time. You can only use this effect only once per turn. Now this is only the effect if he's your Vanguard. You can only use your Persona Blast effect when he's your Vanguard. Also, he has the effect of if you have a Kagero, if you have this guy in your soul, he gets another additional 2,000 power, so he becomes 1,300 right there. Now this is really good right here because you can always go after, if you have a copy of Dragon Overlord at the end, you can have him swing at your opponent's Vanguard, or one of your opponent's rear guards, make him raise up their resources. And then when you reach into a Dragon Overlord at the end, you can just stand right back up, have him go after the Vanguard, and just have him go after some huge serious stuff right here. And you just take over the game real fast right here. Helps you take care of your opponent's resources, helps you take back some stuff, and helps you, well, pretty much become a huge dominant force when it comes to this deck right here. Dragon Overlord at the end is just a huge aggressive and huge domain type of deck right here, and especially now since this deck is a little bit more defensive, it gives you the ability to do offense and defense perfectly, which is pretty much hard to do against this, when you're playing against this deck right here. Now, it's not the best deck right now. I think, in my opinion, I think Dauntless DOTE is a little bit better. But the way how this deck is a little bit right now, it can hold its own against those type of tier decks right here. It's just really based upon players' preference and who's really using this deck right here. And yeah, that right there was my Kagero DOTE deck profile. Thank you again, Zeldin, for allowing me to post this video on your channel. Shout out to you, buddy. I have my own channel for you Dragoons who want to check me out. For you guys who want to check me out, my name is Christian Dragoon. I'll have a link in the description down this video down below. And also, I'm gonna be doing this deck profile again on another video on another channel that my buddy and I share called Music 1 Master 100, aka the Trading Card Bros. Please check out that channel. That channel will also have a link in the description this description as well for those who want to check it out. And with that being said, thank you all for watching, and until next time, I'll see you around. Please comment, rate, subscribe, and tell me what you all think, and I'm out. Peace, you too.